Figure it out!
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series and is intended to aid the Dreamcast and gaming community. I have a treat for you. This is a Katana, a Sega Dreamcast development kit. Now, this one does not have all the bells and whistles. Pretty much this one can only play games. I don't have the GD-ROM writer, I don't have the hard drive, I don't have any of that stuff. This one is just a glorified Dreamcast in a crazy different shell. So here, I'll show it to you as best I can. On the front, you have the power switch on the left, reset on the right, and then different, it's a disc reading indicator and all sorts of stuff. This button, well, leave it always to the right. If you ever have one of these, you're thinking, just leave it there because it does things, I don't really know. This came with a manual, actually, and it's all in Japanese, so I have a very limited understanding, but the guy I got it from had some grasp of English, and basically, not only did he have a piece of tape over this and then said, don't touch, but in the manual, he actually, re-emphasized, he's like, do never touch that, so I'm not going to touch it. Then there's this thing, a Rotary Switch. This basically changes the regions that the game plays, because it doesn't just play everything all at once. You have to select. So 0 on the Rotary is Japan, 4 is the US, and 9 is Europe. Other modes do like debugging and other things, but again, I don't have all that stuff, so it's kind of pointless to go into those modes. Over here, the dip switch. The 3 and 4 always leave down because they don't do anything, but 1 and 2 control the video. When they're up, I believe it goes into VGA mode, and when they're down, it goes into S-Video or AV mode. So that's kind of important to know. I could be wrong about which one's which. I think up is VGA though. So here, this is the drive itself. You push on it and it comes out. You ever see a CD drive that's that thick? That's pretty awesome. But anyway, you put the disc in there, and that's how it loads up. Here are your 4 controller ports. There's actually a different version of this that doesn't say Katana. It actually says Sega Dreamcast on it. I obviously don't have that version. This thing is basically just a PC that is a Dreamcast. It's kind of cool. So Sega up there. There's sides and all that, bottom stuff. Anyway, here's the back. This would just allow you to hook it up to different things. As you can see, it has a PC-like power supply. I apologize, this is kind of heavy, so it's kind of difficult to move and then factor in this tripod and everything. Power supply, make sure you have it switched to your area. It's correct in its current setting, so I'm not going to mess with it. That's for VGA out. This is for the MIDI cable, which I do have, by the way, but it's it's useless, I guess. Then you have AV and S-Video out, and then you have some other stuff. Here's where you would have hooked up some cables for the GD-ROM writer. It came with this thing, which is just supposed to like block ports, I guess. I really don't know. I leave it on there. Why not? It's not hurting anything. Yeah, these things, most of them, they have metal holes, but there's nothing back there. It means I don't have the part. This serial port, I don't know. I guess to hook it up to a computer. And then there's the phone jack. Presumably, you could have hooked this thing up to the internet. But yeah. Then I was actually very fortunate. I wasn't expecting this. When I bought it, the guy gave it to me with its actual original box. I had no idea he was going to send it to me in that thing. But yeah, it's the original. It says Sega. It has all this stuff. It even says, which HKT model it is. Granted, it's partially covered, and it's checked there. So that's kind of cool. I thought people might, it's obviously an ugly little cardboard box and everything, but the fact that it's the original one is kind of cool. And it came with, the only thing interesting really in here is the instruction manual of sorts. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Just shows you stuff. Like I said, this guy wrote in there, and he was very specific about don't touch certain things. So I didn't. But yeah, this is a interesting item. No one except Dreamcast fans should try and get this thing. No one. Because it's really expensive, it's really hard to find, and it's almost pointless. I'm obviously an avid collector, that's the only reason I have it. But it's in some ways it does have some serious flaws, because there's certain games that just do not function on it. For the most part they do. But any of the independent scene stuff, not gonna work. Nothing like that. No CDRs, anything like that, not gonna work. But then there's actually some official games that don't work. Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, I believe, don't work on this thing. I believe like I think one of the Resident Evils doesn't work on here. There's a few I know of. The saddest one though, Shenmue 1 and 2 do not work on this thing, which is really, really, really sad. But that's just how it is. But if you want like a crazy, basically region-free Dreamcast that just looks way different, you're probably not going to do much better, because this thing is crazy. Alright, so I want to show you the Dreamcast dev kit in action, but because of the way the place is set up, I cannot show you the television and the unit at the same time. It's just not plausible, so you're just going to have to trust me on this. Okay, so it's being booted up in its PAL mode, and as you've obviously noticed, the logo is very different from the other logos. But that's of course because it's a dev kit. The game I chose, well, you'll see it in a moment, assuming it decides to run. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Res. I chose Res. But I would have put another version of Shenmue in there, but as I told you before, Shenmue does not work on this thing. Yeah, go ahead and activate that. But yeah, this is VGA PAL mode. So I also decided to show you it, the Ntsc American mode, but in S-Video. Now, you probably can't tell just because of the quality of the camera, but you gotta trust me, the image quality is nowhere near as good as it is on VGA. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you so desire. However, we'd really appreciate it if you'd check out our other videos that are of a higher production caliber. Thank you.